Hello and welcome everybody to the Trackalicious stream that I totally know the title of off of the top of my head. I'm very professional. Trackalicious Summer 2022 GT3 Mixed Champion class at Laguna Seca. And today I have with me Reed. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Excited to see this race here on Laguna Seca. Judging by the track conditions in quali, it will be an interesting one, but it looks like it's dried out a bit since then, or practice, excuse me.
Yeah, it was a little bit greasy in practice. We've got a fast track at the moment, and with 37 drivers on track, Laguna isn't a very long track.
No, it is not a long track. It's also a very unforgiving track, though. If you make any mistake, which can get exaggerated so much in the wet. Especially through the corkscrew and the Andretti hairpin. Those are my two biggest challenge spots.
Yeah, I'd say the corkscrew is probably mine as well, with a lot of others.
I'm not completely sure what sort of times we're going to be seeing here from GT4, but currently we have the GT4s on track for the first 7 minutes. All the red plates will be out there. Then we will have the Pro-Ams and Pros come out at the same time for the 14 minutes.
Yeah, so it's a 20-minute qualifying in total. The first minute is for like setup changes only, just so nobody misses out on time. From 19 to I believe it's 13, the GT4 split 2 drivers come out. From 13 to 7, the GT4 split 1 drivers come out, and from 7 to checkers, all the GT3s come out.
Awesome. So there will be quite a few pit stops then. Or no,
Yep.
not in the race,
Or,
in the
yeah.
qualifying. Okay, my bad. Still just one driver. No swapping. I've got my head elsewhere currently, unfortunately. But we're seeing some pretty good lap time. 133.7. I mean, not sure how good that is, but it's seeming pretty competitive compared to the rest of the field.
Yeah, I think GT3s you might be seeing, I want to say maybe low 23s.
Okay, so just reversing it here for the GT4s at 32. Seems fair.
Yeah, it's usually like adding like 10 seconds or so, but it might be a little bit shorter because it is Laguna, one of the shorter tracks, so we'll just have to wait and see.
This is one of those tracks that I absolutely hate driving GT3 cars on, but love driving GT4s on. It's just so easy to lose the car. I mean, just throughout any of these, especially through the high-speed sweepers in the back. The GT4 just feels so planted, and you can eat all the curbs.
Yeah, a lot of these sausages are quite unforgiving, especially in a GT3 car.
Yeah, that's an understatement sometimes, it feels like. Coming through the back sector is just a nightmare sometimes. I'm on board currently with Scott, and he's about to make that turn that I'm always dreading right there. The high-speed left-hander into the pretty high-braking right-hander. It's just so easy to go off the track here, as he does pretty much, and lose time. Perfect example.
Yeah, so it looks like we see the GT4 split 1 drivers start making their way out of the pit lane. As we'll see what these split 2 drivers have in store, see if they're able to improve on their final moments.
Few drivers out there that I'm very excited to see. First off, Kirster right here coming out onto track in the Maserati. This will be an exciting one to see. But some of the drivers is Orasako Santiago. He is a driver that I want to keep an eye on. He was on my team a few seasons ago, and I'm looking to see how improved he's gotten over these past few seasons. It's going to be very interesting to see. Are there any drivers that have your eye in particular?
It's hard to say. You always have Joseph Kostovich in the 494 Ferrari. He's pretty rapid and he's doing the SRO series, so you know he's quick. But then you also have the likes of like Quinn Smith. You have my old teammate Shane Rees. And then as for the GT4 drivers, we do have Kerstetter in the Maserati. We have Andreas Mostachero, who's usually pretty rapid. Manir, Raza. All these drivers are a toss-up between who ends up across the line first.
Yeah, it will be very interesting. Mostasero is going to be on it today, I hope. He's going to be driving that McLaren. The Spicy Girls livery, Nutella. It's a very exciting livery from him. These cars are just kind of slowing down on track to find space here, starting their lap. So they'll have all of qualifying to do their laps, correct?
So how about 6 minutes for the GT4s?
And then they'll have to come in?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then as long as they cross the line, like for this this split, for example, if they cross the line before the 7-minute mark, that means they can finish their lap. But if they cross it after the 7-minute mark, that means they should probably return to pits, as the GT3 drivers will be coming out.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you for clarifying that. Times here are starting to drop. 132.5 from our leaders still. But that was just as you said, the spotter laps, just getting everything ready. Currently, not too many cars on track. There are a lot of cars on track. I'm just on none of them. Never mind.
It looks like Chris Moses is about to cross the line. He'll be setting the bar for the GT4 Split 1 drivers. Let's see where he crosses the line at from 29th up to P1.
Wow. All right, that's a good start for him.
Quickly dethroned by Manir, though.
Okay, so we're going to start seeing... That's a 31 from Riley. Wow. Raza here. Also in the other Spicy Girls car.
Yeah, currently just over 3/10 off his teammate's time right now. Manir with provisional pole with a 31.462 and Raza with a 31.710.
We'll see how the field closes up here as qualifying is starting to come down to a close in the last 4 minutes here of the last 3 minutes of the GT4s on track. Riley Mariner coming up through here, getting ready to break into the corkscrew. The camera cuts away at the perfect time, of course. And looks all right through there.
Coming into the last 2 turns, he's actually 4/10 up on his delta right now.
Yeah, this is a smasher.
Might actually cross the line with a 30.
He's using all of the track to his advantage right now. Trying to push that Porsche to the absolute limit as he does, going 131.2, not quite into the 30s yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if you saw it by the end of this.
Yeah, he definitely has the pace. I think he may have made a mistake going around that last corner there, but...
So we see Moses here making a mistake and impeding Mike Burkov there a little bit. That wasn't Mike Burkov. I'm not sure who that was, but...
Manir.
Manir? Okay. Bit of an unfortunate error. Unforced. Just trying to push the car to the absolute max. I've never driven the Porsche around this circuit, but I can imagine it's an absolute handful with the rear engine in the corkscrew.
Yeah, I haven't got a clue. I'm not really a Porsche driver.
As we still see here, Moses trying to pushing hard, but down on this lap. Beachley doing the same as him and his teammate are currently nose to tail. Almost like they're racing as they're coming around here, getting ready. Last few minutes here of qualifying. As we see some of the GT4s coming in, knowing that they cannot improve and not going to go out there for another lap.
As we see the GT3 drivers start leaving the pits and make their way onto the track to finish out this qualifying session.
Aguilar there leading the pack of the GT3 cars. It's awesome to see how many just cars there are in this circuit, or in this league, but also just, yeah, on this track. This is such a small track, as you were saying before, and we have currently 35 cars out there. 37. All
Yeah,
going to be,
that's.
come
Go ahead.
race time, that's going to be very difficult to maneuver through the traffic and keep all four on track for everybody.
Yeah, it's with 37 cars on the track and different classes, different paces. This is going to be an insane 60 minutes, to put it lightly.
And will they be having to make any pit stops during this race?
Yep, there is, I believe, one mandatory pit stop with a tire change required. You don't need fuel, but you might as well if you're changing tires as well, because it doesn't really add on to time. But yeah, just one pit stop with tires included, and you'll be good to go to the green.
Awesome.
No pit window or anything, so you can pit lap 1 or you could pit on the final lap.
We see these GT3 drivers coming around the final corner, all spacing each other out just to get their first lap started here. Aguilar working his way around about halfway through the lap. That is a massive wing on that Nismo. I've never noticed that before. It's just a very large wing.
Yeah, the Nissan's got a big wing.
So that looked very tidy there through the final sector. Wow, using all the track. Aguilar trying to put in a smasher of a lap to start it off here and see how well he does. Coming around the start-finish straight. He will be setting a 125.3 top the time charts right now.
Yeah, quickly gets dethroned by Brian Knappen in that 40 Lamborghini with a 23.687.
Yeah, Aguilar must have made a mistake on that lap. Just did not see it. Knappman, very good lap. 23.6. Everyone's kind of slotting their way in behind right now. The Lamborghini topping the field. Very cool Lamborghini livery.
As we see a couple more drivers crossing the line, we got Ricardo Rivera, P2 with a 24.350. You got Tanner Masters, P4, now down to P5 as he gets sent down by Rogero Santos. Then you have Phil Cyrotheos in P7. Eric Capassi in
Cryotheus.
P8. Yeah, maybe Cryotheus. And Joseph Kostovich currently sitting P11.
Large spread right now from the GT3s. It's a massive spread, in fact.
Yeah, like 4.2 seconds between first and 11th right now. But that will obviously get lowered down, I would think, especially because that is a very, like, how should I say it? That's not a lap you'd expect Kostovich to put down. And it looks like he's improving massively. He's improving by about 4.2 seconds. He'll be right around P2 after this one.
Yes, indeed. Lovely. He's 7 thousandths down.
That's a Joseph Kostovich where that I'm most more. Wow, words are hard.
Don't worry, I'm with you, man. This field is slowly coming to rather coming a little bit closer together, but some of these drivers running out of time to put in a lap. If they don't set a decent lap here on this one, they're going to have to be pushing it down to the checkered and hopefully they can manage to get that done as we see Kostovic more or less pushing that BMW out of the way there.
So we have I think that's Autista XR supporting Ricardo Rivera, and then Racer X. How are you doing tonight?
Awesome. Love to see the people here in chat as we come to the close here in qualifying, as we're going to start this race with 37 drivers in the field. Multi-class racing, 1 hour, will be exciting. You see here Gonzalez coming through the middle sector. He's kind of down quite a bit on his time right now. Not looking like he's going to improve this lap. P3 is looking like the best. Hopefully he can manage to hold that, as Knapman's going to be wanting that pretty badly. Try to take that position.
And I'm sitting behind your provisional pole setter, Quinn Smith, and he actually got caught up in traffic a little bit behind Joaquin Cura, which is very unfortunate, but he will have the opportunity to go again as long as he gives himself enough space.
Yeah, and he'll probably end up just abandoning that lap if he needs to, because he set a pretty solid banker lap. I don't think Kostovic is going to be catching him, as he's down on his time right now. Obviously, you want to try to set it a little bit higher just in case, but he seems like he's going to be pretty good for a pole position. Smith is. We got a lot of first-time chatters here. NS Racing, Pit of Sin, Element Future. How's it going, guys? Humidity is too high. Where are you at, Element?
As we qualifying timer runs out, we're in max wait time, so a couple of these drivers to cross the line, and that will be the end of the session, and we will get into the race session.
The Netherlands. Ooh. Well, no wonder it's humid there. Living right next to the... I mean, you basically are the ocean. As we come to a close here in qualifying, we have Quinn Smith topping the time charts. Knapman here running up P2 as he's 5/10,000ths. Am I correct on that? Behind?
What was that? Sorry.
He's 5. Is that how? Why am my brain is not working?
Yeah, I
Is
think
that
that's 5,000.
5/10,000ths or 5,000ths?
I think 5,000s, because I think it goes tenths, hundredths,
You're
thousands.
right, because you skipped the zeros. 5,000ths, correct. All right, we are professionals. As if you want to maybe do here a little bit of a rundown of the grid, we have 39 drivers on the field now, actually. It's quite a few drivers to go through a rundown of, but we'll do it anyways. We start in the back here. Jay Bravo coming up in the back here, the 67 BMW A Martin, the 94 AMG, looking lovely. The HP, let's see if I can find a good view for him. Yeah, it's a good enough view. The HP computer. Got Orasako, my man here, bringing up 37th. We'll see how he ends up finishing. Niall, how's it going in chat? Love to see it. Got Thompson coming in 36th. Karnas in 35th. Gibber 34th. Wolfie. Then Haight. Polsky. Delbecke. This is just words for me at this point. Mostasero, that is a driver I do recognize. And I can't scroll in on these liveries, unfortunately. Kerstetter running up P28. Wow, Kerstetter in P28. He's quite down the field for where I would expect him. Snyder as well, P27. Ladas in P26. Mostasero, wait, what? Oh, there's two Mostaseros.
The Mastachero brothers.
I forgot about that. Yeah, so the other Mostasero run up in 25th. Sapien, 24th. Scott in 23rd. King in 22nd, Cronitis 21st, Provolone in 20th, Beachley running up almost trying to get, he just about managed to take that time off Mike Burkhoff, but running up in 19th, followed up by Mike Burkhoff. To make our final podium spots for the GT4 field, we have Moses in 17, Rudy Mariner in 16, and Raza in P15. Running up the back of the GT3 field, we have Bibi in the 32 Ferrari, Eric Glockenstein in P13, number 5 Lamborghini, Masters running up P12, Reese running P11, Kura in P10 in the Lexus, number 21,
20 seconds.
Aguilar in the 133 Nismo, Santos in the number 8 position, Rivera or Cronitis,
10
excuse
seconds.
me, Cryotheus P7, Rivera P6, Carries P5, Kostovich P4, Gonzalez running up the top of the podium in P3, Natman P2, and Smith in P1. That was a lot of words.
Yeah, you kind of get used to it. Not really, because it's still a lot.
I need a drink of water after that.
As these drivers start making their way around the track for their formation lap. You got your GT3 pole setter, Quinn Smith. Your GT4 Split 1 pole setter is Ollie Raza. And it looks like your GT4 Split 2 driver is Reggie King. Or no, Ricky Scott, sorry.
Yeah, these splits are a little confusing for me, but I definitely do. We'll see, as Richie Scott driving very well for his where he's at. Yes, this is a
You gotta be.
multi-class race. A multi-class race in a multi-class race, as we have GT3s with GT4s and GT4s separated by different nameplates.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Ricky Scott's gotta be pretty comfortable. He's got a 2-car buffer between him and Lattice, who is the next Split 2 driver behind.
Well, he's still got to be pushing, as Sapien's going to be wanting that position as well.
Oh yeah, it's very easy to get gobbled up, especially with some of these quicker drivers.
So unfortunately, we got one driver starting in the pits, Jay Thomas, the Aston Martin. Not sure what happened there. This is going to be a chaotic start. There's a lot of drivers on this field, as we have the drivers now entering the corkscrew, and we just have cars kind of just getting to the sweeper in the back. Large field spread, very large. Yeah, the GT3s should in fact be lapping the GT4s very, very quickly.
That's gonna play into a huge role of lap traffic in this race, because you're gonna catch it so quickly, and there are not really many clean places you can actually pass at. Like, there aren't too many straights. A lot of it is a windy track.
Now, even turn 1 here is not even hardly a turn, as turn 2 is the biggest passing opportunity into the Andretti hairpin. As the cars are all lined up, 2x2 Noah's Ark coming down the start-finish straight as we get ready to go green here in Laguna Seca. We are green, 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 and away we go. It's a great start from Q Smith. Everyone else trying to come up right in the back. Rivera trying to make a look around the outside. Massive lunge down the inside from Kostovich. Is that, or excuse me, is on the outside. I can see. All the cars have been navigating through turn 2 pretty well so far. Ooh, bit of action down in the mid-pack as Eric trying to make a look there on Masters, not quite getting it done. The GT4 field also making it clean. It's a very lovely start, extremely clean so far.
Yeah, there was, I believe I saw one yellow flag, but it wasn't for very long, whether... Oh, and speak of the devil, the 263 car is off with the 15, and there's bit of drama towards the back of the field between some of these GT4 drivers.
So I'm just taking a look here through as they navigate their way first time through the hair. There's a lot of yellow flags on track as cars are unfortunately losing it a lot, but we have a lot of cars making it through the hair or through corkscrew. Everyone's all right so far. Just have a couple drivers with a little bit of an off-track excursion. Driver number 3 of Orisako, unfortunately, getting entangled up in that incident, along with the 15-car Polski. Hopefully no one has to box to make repairs. As we have the scrap from up front here. Knapman trying to make a look on Smith, not quite getting it done yet. 67 yellow flag in the middle. Massive pile up, it looks like, coming around the final corner. Uh-oh. Did you see what happened there?
No.
That's not ideal. Looks like there was quite a bit of contact coming around the final corner there. Not sure what happened. Someone might have just went a little slow and... yeah, and it happens with that amount of cars. No, that's quite a clean lap 1, honestly, for all things considered.
Yeah, so it looks like Jose Bravo and the 323 of, I believe, Matthew Haight. Haight tried to send it on the inside a little bit and clipped the rear wheel of a Roscoe, spun, and a couple people got collected.
Ah, that's unfortunate. It's P1, 2, and 3 so far, and 4. Kind of just pulling away from the rest of the pack. Just trying to make their own little space. Cryotheus trying his best to push and keep up, but kind of struggling to keep up with Rivera, who's making decent pace. We have another incident on track. 2 cars in the gravel. It's that Cryotheus and Moses, unfortunately, getting tangled up in an incident. As I'm sure that was not the last incident we're going to be seeing in this 56 minutes of racing.
Yeah, there's still a lot of race to go, so you can still make up a couple positions if you were to get unlucky, and also some of your fellow rivals or competitors might also get a little bit unlucky, so you just got to keep your head down and keep going.
These top 3 cars look so well composed right now. Just all 3 of them just driving. Not even racing, just driving. Ooh.
Oh, well, they're definitely racing, but they're keeping it clean.
As we see a little bit of contact there from, was that Clarice and Cryotheus? Clarice trying to get, or Carries trying to get the move done on Cryotheus, but can't quite get it done in the corkscrew. Can he get it? Is he pushing him around the final corner? That Ferrari wants that position. That BMW walking on the straight as they come into turn 2 here. Well, turn 1 into turn 2. And he can't quite close it up. Ooh, Cryotheus going a little wide. Side by side. He gets the job done. Lovely. Carries manages to get the pass done on Cryotheus in the first sector. As it looks like all the drivers are starting to settle into their positions. We have another yellow flag, unfortunately, in the GT4 field. But right now we have Rudy running up the GT4 pack. Driving very well, as him and Raza are just kind of making their own way.
Yeah, we're near the GT4 leader right now. Raza close in tow, and they kind of ran away from the rest of the pack as Raza has about 3 seconds to Mike Burkhoff.
And Mike Burkhoff has about 4 seconds to the car behind him. He's just driving his race too. So we see a little bit of squabbling for position down here. The GT3 field, the Audi managing to get by Santos. See your battle between Natman and Gonzalez? Not quite, no. Very good pace from them so far, considering their qualifying pace. They're running 23.3s currently, which is just about a half second off the quali pace. A little bit more.
Man, I wonder what happened, because Kostovic was in P4, and now he's up to P2 as he gets past Knappen and Gonzalez.
Might have been a little bit of an error. Unfortunately, we did not catch that. So we see a lot of people missing the apex there in turn 2 for the GT4 field. I didn't quite catch that, but there's a lot of... Wow, we're side by side here. This is a very close field down for P23, roughly. P20, seems like it goes up to. Got some quite close racing here, side by side, going into the sweeper. This is never going to work out good. Oh, and luckily the 48 car yields to Cronitis there a little bit, as they're still side by side though. Some nice racing in the mid-pack.
Yeah, there was a little bumping going on, but no real off tracks or anything. Nothing worth penalizing for, I would think.
When we have Camaro and Camaro action here running up for the AM class, as they're both just trying to squirm their way through the corkscrew. It's looking like Delbic has the pace to catch up with Lattice, or with Garnis. We'll see if he can manage to get it done either on this lap or the next.
Yeah, and as we were talking about a little earlier about the back markers, the race leaders, and yeah, have already encountered some traffic, and it's just going to get worse.
Yeah, they're about to hit a big spell of it here coming up soon. Maybe within a couple laps.
It looks like Kostovic and Smith are going to be able to get by Orozco with no problem, but these drivers behind, they might get caught up a little bit.
Yeah, that was a very fortunate spot to get caught up behind traffic on the back straight. One of the major passing opportunities. But not so lucky for these other drivers. It's actually Orozco looking like he's being very nice and just kind of getting out of the way for all the faster drivers.
Yeah, he's probably just thinking it's not his race, and, you know, just play it safe because you don't want to lose your race by getting into like a little skirmish or a little hit with a GT3 driver.
Genuinely one of the nicest guys. But Santiago is a very great guy. Like I say, I was fortunate enough to be teammates with him for a season. And he made some massive improvements in the time. As we see, a bit of an error there from the BMW. That was a back marker, never mind. All good. The BMW looking like it has damage though. And that is Orozco. As we have a car sideways, uh-oh. That's a Camaro sideways out after the corkscrew.
Yep, that is the 89 car of Hayden Gibor. He's back facing the right way now, but he definitely lost out there.
That was a very safe rejoin from him. He definitely waited for a large window, which, you know, hey, more power to him.
Yeah, definitely don't want to ruin somebody else's race, and you don't want any penalties going through.
Whew. Nice. It's just some lap traffic sending, that's all. Seemed like everyone managing to navigate through this traffic without really much of an issue. As the number 999 car laps the number 9 car. Oh! That Camaro getting very, very sideways there. That was not how you want to take the corkscrew, looking like he lost out on a position.
And it looks like Kostovich was right behind him, so if he were to make a mistake, he may have collected Kostovich with him.
That's got to be a scary position there from the GT3 driver. Knapman managing to navigate. He's kind of fallen back off of Kostovich. Not quite navigating traffic as fortunately as him.
Yeah, well, with how passive some of these drivers have, these backmarkers have been, and would want to see when the race starts closing down on its final moments, if anyone starts to make any last-ditch efforts and maybe be a little over-aggressive with some of these moves.
For sure, as we see here, Cranitis and Moses still scrapping. Looks like Moses managed to take the position back from Cranitis. But Cranitis isn't done.
As we see Knappen and Gonzalez almost side by side going into the corkscrew.
Ooh, yes indeed. Can't quite get it done. That was a good look. We see number 9 of Reese going off the track in the sweeper highest speed section. He reverses off of track as he made a slightly poor decision to go on track at a inopportune time, but managed to get back off it safely, luckily.
It didn't look like he collected anybody, which is always a good sign.
A little exuberant on the rejoin, but he did get lucky and fortunately didn't collect anyone. As we see the blue flags rolling by for the blue and white HP Mercedes. Everyone being very, very cooperative so far with blue flags, it seems like. No one getting in the way, holding up people when they shouldn't be. Not that it's against the rules. It's completely their right to hold up. Blue flags, it's not like Formula One where you have to get out of the way immediately. You have your right to hold your position safely, that is.
Yeah, so what the rules are for this is just drive predictably, so if the person does want to make a pass, they don't have to fear for their life. And, you know, if you can let them by safely, then by all means do so.
You see here, Beebe getting back to the GT3 field. Back of the GT3 field now, overtaking P1 of the GT4s. His race is back on. Hurt, but back on nonetheless. A lot of McLarens in the GT4 field, that is. Only one in the GT3. I've never driven, well, I have driven is it the 650? Or is this a different, this is a newer McLaren, isn't it?
I believe the GT4 is the 570.
Okay. I've never really driven that car, unfortunately. It seems like very well represented here at Laguna Seca.
Yeah, I did a little while back now. It was one of the 949 GT4 seasons. I did a season in the GT4 McLaren, and it's a very interesting car to say the least. It's got like it's like an electronic brake bias, so you can't set it, but it kind of learns from what you do, and it's interesting. I can't explain it to the full extent, but it's definitely an interesting feature of the car.
Oh, I know what you mean. I drove the Audi for a couple seasons, and that car was... I know what you mean by the electrical, just kind of... You just got to get used to it. It's very... I mean, just driving GT4s in general is a lot different than the GT3s. And yeah, I was the main car I drove was the GT3 McLaren, and yes, it does have a tough BOP here. It's very, very tough. This was one of my worst tracks for that GT3, but that's also why, like I say, I like driving GT4s here, not GT3s. jump in back to the race. Q Smith, he's got a second and a half on the field. Looks like traffic's been treating him well.
Yeah, so far. Quinn Smith, 2.5 in front of Kostovic. Kostovic has about 2 seconds to Knapin. And then Knapin has just over a second to Gonzalez.
Aguilar and Cryotheus making through these laps. Whoa! That was an ambitious move from Kerstetter, trying to take full advantage of the blue flags. That was cheeky. It was a very nice overtake from Kerstetter, but very risky.
And I'm currently on board with Riley Manier, the GT4 leader right now. He's got about almost, or just over 11 seconds on Mike Burkhoff, who's in P2 right now.
Is he, I think someone forgot to give him the GT4 car. I think they gave him the GT3 instead. As he's actually getting passed by the leader currently. Moses and Kerstetter scrapping away as we see Moses taking the position back. Unfortunately, didn't see as Kerstetter has a big moment there and manages to hold on to it. That was an incredible save there. He is on the absolute limit in that Maserati.
Yeah, when you got no ABS and no traction control, you really gotta be pushing it to the limit.
He's doing a very good job. And Dan Locke, thank you very much. Welcome to the chat. So we see, is he going to make a move into the corkscrew? Probably not. That would be an ambitious one. We can hop on board here with the Maserati, actually. Well, why not? Just to hear the awesome sound of that engine. Just to see also just how impressive it is for these drivers to drive so close to each other for such a long time on these tracks. Coming through the final corner, he's going to have a little bit of a... as we see Moses running wide, he's going to have to run down the inside here and go back. The 3 wide coming down the straight, we see a little bit of contact, bumping, a lot of bumping as Moses ends up getting pushed off the track, unfortunately, it looks like. That was not ideal.
No, you hate to see it. Whether Kerstetter got a little nervous with the GT4 sending it on the inside, making it 3 wide slightly, or these drivers just trying to squeeze each other, but it's very unfortunate, and I could see a penalty from Kerstetter. Maybe.
I could as well, but I also could see that being a racing incident. That was just one of those unfortunate ones where it's kind of... because at that part of the track, it turns, and that's, you know... it's kind of difficult when you're going 3 wide in a turn, getting ready for a turn. And we see actually Moses picking up, looks like, quite a bit of damage. Hopefully that doesn't affect his race too badly, but I doubt that it will.
Yeah, luckily there is the mandatory pit stop to kind of, you know, take some of that damage, but it will add on a bit of time to your pit stop. Whereas if there was no pit stop, you would be losing out a lot more than you would if there wasn't.
Yeah, it's still a massive loss, though, unfortunately, for Moses. And that was a bit more rubbing than the netcode could take, that is true.
Yeah, well, definitely have to see what the stewards think of it after the race, and yeah, we're clearly not stewards, so we'll see what they think of it and go from there.
That is a true statement. I'm not a steward at all. So you see the 177 here. The Brazilian car of Santos, and we see actually someone behind him there running wide of the Polky, the 50. Oh, never mind. That is not them. So they come into the pits, making their first pit stop.
Yeah, so you look at your favorite driver on the left side of the screen. You see that they either have a one with a yellow box with a 1 inside, or a green. Some drivers have a green box. The drivers with the 1, they need to take a mandatory pit stop, and that pit stop you need a change of tires. Once you take the tires, your badge will turn green, and you are set to go to the checker.
Yeah, it definitely will be very interesting to see when people take that pit stop, if they're comfortable with their tires, if they want to go long or try for an undercut. Strategy will come into a large play here at some point.
And we'll see if the undercut pays off for some of these drivers, or if the overcut is going to come out on top.
A lot of damage throughout this field, it seems like, as I'm switching from car to car. I see quite a few damaged vehicles. I'm not completely sure how that happened, but that's also just, rubbing is racing at a certain point. Cranitis, whoa, running very wide. And his bonnet's not exactly fully attached either. Dan Locke subscribed with Prime. Thank you very much, Dan. I appreciate that. And you know what? I think mine won't let me anymore. That's okay. Field very spread out. Everyone just getting into their rhythm, trying their best to stay alive at this point, as we have still 36 minutes to go of this race. This race is not over by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, still 36.5 minutes to go. Some of these drivers still needing, or most of these drivers still needing to make a pit stop, and with 2 different classes on track, with a very tight track and minimal space for error, still anybody's game.
It is for sure, except for coming back here looking at the GT4 field. Rudy is still just dominant, pulling is a 20-second lead to the next position, roughly. Am I correct on that? Yeah, 16 seconds to Raza. Wow. Driving the wheels off of that Porsche.
Now, there's not too many straights on this track, so feels like it would favor the Porsche quite a bit more than something like the Lexus, something known for its top speed.
You say that, yet the Lexus is currently leading us, and it has been the whole time, making that car look absolutely dominant on this track.
Yeah, but the driver behind the wheel definitely helps with that a ton.
That is true.
Quinn Smith is rapid.
So he's been a very good race from him so far, and Kostovich, unfortunately, not being able to keep up whatsoever, really. I mean, he's still there. He's 4 seconds behind. Got plenty of race left. That was scary, as he closed up on Beachley there extremely quickly going into the last turn. Managed to last second make the move.
Well, you just missed out on a treat. I was on board with Quinn Smith, and he almost lost it.
Oh no.
He was going like, the car was sliding left, right. He was able to save it, but he was probably trying to save the car for like a solid 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, Kostovich closed the gap up 1.5 seconds on that one. I know, I'm extremely excited as well, Element, to see this DLC coming up as we see side-by-side racing coming down the start-finish straight into the Andretti hairpin. Not sure who was ahead to begin with, but I think Cryotheus managed to get by Aguilar there. Reese, uh-oh, is sideways on the track currently. Manages to get off of it. That was close.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be his day today. He's had a tough time on track so far. We're not even halfway through yet.
Yeah, hopefully he can manage to turn that around. Woo! Aguilar giving Cryotheus a bit of a squeeze. How's it going, Vivacious? Cryotheus here trying to push to stay ahead of Aguilar as much as he can, but I think Cryotheus has a bit of damage on board if I'm not mistaken. Managing to navigate through the traffic very easily, along with everyone else. So far, not too many blue flag incidents, which is exactly what you want to see. And not to mention here, Orisako currently on the podium, the driver, the one I wanted to keep an eye on. He's currently sitting in P29, P3 for his class. Still yet to pit, but doing very good nonetheless.
Yeah, and as you were speaking, Aguilar put some pressure going down the main straight onto Cryotheus, and Cryotheus went wide going into the hairpin, and Aguilar got past, moving him up to P5.
I don't think this battle is done yet either. As we see there, Cryotheus, he does want that position back, trying to lunge down the inside. But manages to actually, looks like Cryotheus had a bit of a, taking that alternate line, managed to mess him up, and now he's fell back a second. Currently Rivera, with our fastest lap, it's sitting down in P8, a 1:23.1. It's got some pretty good pace. Lapping about, currently, a little bit slower than the leader, but still, Rivera maybe trying to make up some positions by the end here and try to get back into it.
Yeah, as it looks like these front runners are lapping at about a mid-24.
Yeah, Dan, it is awesome to see all these three communities come together, at least the three that I know of Box 3, Trackalicious, and 949. It's just every week, it's so cool to see, one, how well these communities work together, but two, just how well they race together and how much competition it adds.
Yeah, and it's also bumped the numbers up by quite a bit, and all the leagues you see, they're essentially full, and you're like, hey, I know that guy from this league, or I know this guy from that league, and just the leagues helping each other out, the different organizations, the different sim racing communities. It's great to see.
That is so cool to see, especially with the DLC, like they were saying earlier, coming out soon. This is going to be, I mean, hopefully this game is going to stay very popular for a very long time. So we finally reached the halfway mark, the dreaded halfway point, which probably feels like an eternity for some of these drivers. They just want to get out of this car, probably like Smith, for example, who's been leading this race the entire time from qualifying. He just wants this race. He wouldn't care if it ended this lap.
Oh, I don't think he would mind at all. As Kostovic, he's up 2 positions from the start. Kanapin, he's down a position. Keres, he's currently up a position, but he is yet to make his pit stop. Aguilar is up 4. And yeah, there's been quite a few changes on the board since the start of this race.
Very good drive from Aguilar so far. considering, I mean, he's sitting down in P5 right now. You say he made up 5 positions? That's a very impressive for halfway through the race so far. Still a lot of race to go.
And right now, your GT4 leader, Riley Monier, is making his mandatory pit stop, and that gives Reggie King the lead for now.
Reggie,
But
another
Reggie,
person, just absolutely rapid. Sorry to interrupt.
no worries. I was just going to say, Reggie still needs to pit, so we'll see where he comes out in relation to Monier after his pit stop.
Reggie here. I've been fortunate enough to be on a team with Reggie and both Reggie and Mariner, so King and Mariner. We drove the Audi, and these two guys are absolutely rapid. The amount of competition they can bring to each other is insane.
Ooh, and the 40 car gets a drive-through for speeding in the pits.
Oof.
And that is Brian Knappen. That is your P3 before his pit stop.
Ooh, that's not good. Lamborghini. He just had one job there, just had to keep it, unfortunately, and under the limiter, but he didn't manage to do that. He now has
Ooh,
to
and
make
an
another
84
stop.
car gets a drive-through.
Oh,
And the 32 car gets a drive-through.
wow. Slow down, guys.
Wonder if somebody took out that pit board or something.
Could be. Stop go 30 from Mostasero. You see Santos here in P4 coming into the pits. Smith still yet to make his pit, as he's just going to be staying out there as long as he can, pretty much. He seems like he's plenty comfortable. He just wants to keep this on track and not worry about anyone else, really. Knappen making his stop go 30, as he's going to fall back from the field quite a bit now. Or not a stop go 30, his drive through, unfortunately. And he does manage to stay in P6, it seems like, for now, but that was a lot of time lost.
For sure, he could be up there in P3 still, but unfortunately missed the mark, and it cost him.
Yeah, Kostovich benefiting massively from that. He said, he'll take that, I think.
Yeah, it looks like right now Kostovich has about a minute gap to Ricardo Rivera behind. Of course, Kostovich and Smith have yet to pit, and Rivera has, but that is still quite a lead.
That's quite a sizable gap. So you can hear it. I hear the Maserati.
Sorry, but it will be much closer after Smith and Kostovich make their pit stops, which should be soon, you'd think.
Currently, Chronotis, preliminary leader for our GT4 field, but Riley just, I mean, he's not far behind. He's going to be catching up here in a matter of a little bit, assuming Chronotis doesn't pit. And that just shows the difference here of just truly how much pace Riley has in this. Is that the sun now setting, it looks like, over Laguna Seca, kind of. It's getting a little cloudy.
Yeah, it's just getting a little cloudy. The sun's probably starting to go down a little bit.
Track temp will be falling. Hopefully these drivers, there'll be any of the drivers that pit already, hopefully they manage to put the correct pressures on, because I don't know if they were expecting a drop in track temp.
Yeah, but it is Laguna. It's pretty hot track, so the temperature might not drop too much, and it might not drop enough to matter.
That is true. The front left definitely isn't going to drop. Or front right, excuse me. So far, though, not much battling going on currently. A lot of battling to be had, though, so far, as we now see Riley getting by Cronitis, becoming our leader again, rightfully so. Cronitis running a little bit wide. Probably going to box here very soon, as we got 20 minutes left of this race.
Yeah, it just shows how much pace Riley Manier has in this Porsche. He has pitted already, and he has taken the lead away from Chronotis, who has yet to pit.
Yeah, just a stunning drive. See here, a bit of a train forming behind the 89 Camaro. See if people can manage to get by cleanly, as the Camaro's looking awfully wider. I guess that would be the Mercedes, but I think the Mercedes managed to get by not too long ago. I don't know why, but I really like the livery of Martin. The HP basic white and blue. I don't know. There's something about it.
Yeah, just the colors complement each other nice. The white on blue looks real nice.
Just it complements the Mercedes, if that makes any sense whatsoever. It looks like a Mercedes.
Yeah, it's right now for P23, 24, and 25, all within 3/10 of each other.
Ooh, see some damage on Scott. I'm assuming all these cars are going to have a little bit of damage at this point. GT4 is very tough comparatively to the GT3s. Look,
The 67 car's off, going down the main straight, it looks like.
you know, that's not the first time I think that was the 67 car off, unfortunately. So they're taking a while to rejoin. It's going to affect their race quite a bit as they don't back into the wall. Good, good, good. That was close.
Yeah, they somehow managed to spin the car and face it the wrong way going down the main street.
Looks like he shouldn't have took too much damage there. Just maybe flat spotted his tires a little bit. So see our leaders just making absolute easy work of this traffic, and now we have Smith coming in to make his first and final pit stop. He should easily come out in the lead. I say that, and Kostovich is currently in the lead, but still yet to pit. Once Kostovich pits, he will be right back into his position.
Yeah, I want to see when Kostovich pits where he'll be in relation to Quinn Smith on exit. Let's see if who gets the better pit stop, because if Quinn Smith has a bad pit stop and Kostovich nails it, they could be the fight could be on when he comes out of the pit lane.
That is very true, as I'm currently watching Natman as he's just trying to push to make up the ground. That was our old P2, and he had a bit of an incident earlier that ended up with him facing the wrong way on track, unfortunately. As he's trying to make a recovery drive out of this. He's making up some ground on Gonzalez, but not quite enough to really have any impact. But I will say Gonzalez stuck in a lot of traffic, as we see that HP car running very wide, and just a lot of cars right now on the final straight.
Yeah, if you're the 32 car of Adam Beebe, there's a lot of GT4 traffic in front of you.
We see the team cars here of Natman and Eric. Natman lapping Eric, actually. So Eric sitting down in P11 currently. His teammate Natman making pretty good pace comparatively. It's a whole lap ahead, trying to push that ground back up to catch Gonzalez. And Aguilar as well, currently in P7, fell back a little bit. Oh, as we see Smith with a yellow flag. I'm not sure what happened there, but it looks like there was a GT4 running wide. I think that there was a bit of a incident with blue flags right there.
And Kostovich right now, he is green and he's moving out of the pit lane. He's just about on the pit exit here.
Whoa, this is going to be extremely close. That was not what Smith wanted to see on this outlap. He does manage to stay ahead, but Kostovich is going to be probably closer behind than he would like.
Yeah, especially with Kostovich getting that inside line from the pit exit. And
Yeah.
Kostovich a second and a half behind Quinn Smith right now. As the race is on, the only thing going for Quinn Smith is Kostovich still has cold tires.
Yeah, that is true. He did have that lap to get those up to temperature, and it looks like he's managing to still keep that pace up and pull even a little bit ahead of Kostovich, which is needed at this point. See if he can manage to get through this lap traffic easily. If he doesn't, he might be having a bit of a battle, which is something he hasn't had to do this entire race. Managing to take a bit of a wide, awkward line, but still nonetheless getting by, and Kostovich getting caught up there. He wanted by really bad. He had lost a little bit of time there. Is he actually not? He gained a little bit of time.
Yeah, it looks like Kostovich may lose out here going into the hairpin to this GT4 driver.
Yes, he does.
32 car is off. This 32 car of Adam Beebe.
Ooh. Oh, no. Carries. Juan Carries stopped on track for some reason around the final corner. Not sure what happened there. He was our third place. He just got dropped down to 6th. So I have no idea what just happened there. Natman managing to make up a position from that at least.
Ooh, and the 30 car gets a 30-second stop go for speeding in the pits.
Ooh. That's car of Raza down in P28. It's going to pretty much bring his race to an end, more or less, for competition. I'm really curious what happened to Juan there. Looked almost like a technical difficulty or something. But he's back up driving, so see if he can manage to make up the 18 seconds he needs. And I don't think he will, though, to catch Natman.
That's right. Right now we have Riley Manier leading the GT4 field, and he has about 19 seconds to Mike Burkhoff behind, who's currently in P2.
You know,
Ed Kerstetter bringing that Maserati into third place right now.
where he should be. But that is still a very impressive drive from Kerstetter. You know, all things considering, Mike Burkhoff, I'm pretty sure when we last checked in on them, there was a 20-second gap as well. So Mike Burkhoff having some actually very good pace, managing to keep that gap up and hold that second place. Sure, he's not quite there with Rudy, but he's still got some pretty good pace.
Yeah, it isn't on the pace level of Manier, but he is definitely going pretty close to the same pace.
Oh, wow. Beebs there getting spun the wrong way on track, and couple cars just narrowly missing him as he's still okay. Everyone managing to avoid that just barely. Rudy benefiting from that as well, taking a position actually. Now into P13, ahead of a GT3 car. Rivera, someone who we probably haven't talked about that much at all during this race, who just kind of is now snuck onto the podium due to P2 making the mistake oh, okay. Oh, that was just looked hot. That just looked hot. But very, very good from Rivera so far. He's just managing to keep it cool, keep it calm, and keep it on track.
Yeah, he's putting a very consistent drive so far, and just kind of quietly snuck his way up to third place.
Oh, as we see there, that GT4 car losing as a Mostasero in the corkscrew, and he just returns to pits. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, with just over 12 minutes to go, been a very difficult track for some of these drivers.
It definitely has been. It's very, very spread out. We see Eric making a little off-track excursion, finding his own racing line. Raza with a stop-go 30, unfortunately, as he's sitting down in P34 already. His race has gone from worse to even worse. Smith dominating still. Still holding that 2-second gap to Kostovich.
Yeah, it's something you got to be a little worried about if you're Quinn Smith. Is Kostovich just set the fastest lap of the session with a 22.835.
Yeah, but Smith Heat responded with a 22.95. So, you know, both of them have stepped the pace up here. Smith, he's pushing the wheels off that Lexus right now.
Yeah, we just gotta see if Kostovich can put down the times and see if he can make up enough time to be in close contention for P1 towards the end of this race. But we'll just have to wait and see, as he is definitely capable of doing so.
It only takes one back marker at a bad time to lose that. Like here, for example, if you manage to get a little caught up, he does manage to navigate these back markers, but still losing half a second. I mean, those half a seconds matter. Natman, P5, who was our P2 at one point, still with a pretty good drive, all things considered. Managing to catch Gonzalez quite a bit. I think he had a, 25 second gap to Gonzalez, and he managed to close that up by, honestly, quite a bit. Not quite enough to probably have a look at by the end of the race, but
Yes, we still got just under 10 minutes to go now. It's make or break time. These drivers are running out of time to make up positions, to set some good laps in and catch up to the driver ahead of them.
you always know when that Maserati's on track of Kerstetter. That car just sounds so nice. It's angry. I would describe it as angry. Smith here, navigating the back markers. Oh, and having actually a bit of difficulty here, as that's going to be a bit of time as Kostovich closes up, as we see also a car off track. There's a lot happening in that very small area. We'll see if Kostovich can manage to get by this Camaro. Doesn't look like he did coming out of the corkscrew. He did actually. Okay, as he's 1 second behind now. Both of them still pushing. 23.9s as they've slowed down a little bit. And Gonzalez just driving a solid race here in P4, about 5 seconds down from Rivera. As they are teammates, they probably will not be racing too hard towards the end. They're just going to end up, that's a very solid finish. That P3 and P4 for the Puerto Rico E Racing Club. Very
Yeah, but
solid.
don't discount him yet. Kostovich within a second of Quinn Smith right now. If they battle it out too hard and they end up wrecking, it's still on the table for any of these drivers. But that requires Kostovich to get that close to Quinn Smith to force a mistake, as they're now just over a second behind.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dan. I didn't see that question. Yeah, I am Mike, and we have ShyGuy, otherwise known as Aldred. I'm sorry, I forgot. I had to
Oh,
look.
good.
Everyone just kind of probably a bit tired after that hour-long race on Laguna Seca. This is a exhausting track. Kostovich still wanting that as he's half a second down. Looking like he actually might catch up soon, as he's going to have the slipstream coming down the start-finish straight every lap until Smith can pull away a little bit.
Yeah, luckily for Smith, he's got the Lexus, so the top speed's going to help him out with Kostovich getting the slip, and it's also Laguna Seca. Not many straights, so the slipstream won't have too big of an effect as it would for, say, like something like Monza or Paul Ricard going down the main straight or something like that.
No, but if I know Kostovich, if he sees a gap, he's going for it.
Oh my
Wow!
goodness!
What happened?
I think that was Orozco, and he may have just
He's,
completely missed his braking point.
I think he forgot to brake. Yeah, he just went straight on into the wall at the corkscrew. That's less than ideal. I saw there was a little bit of battling going on there. I think was that Cranitis? I'm not sure what happened there, but interesting.
I just took a look at that replay, and he went right between P1 and P2.
Oh
Luckily
no.
not taking anybody out, but he hit that wall hard.
Come on, Santiago. You can't be making those mistakes.
Fortunately, he saw the error in his ways, and if he tried to keep braking, he may have actually collected either Smith or Kostovich, and luckily he just kind of saw the gap and was able to stay clear of those two.
He went for it. Yeah, Costi is gonna need a change of pants after that. There's no doubt about that. And a new shirt. He's probably a little sweaty right now, as he is pushing extremely hard to try to catch Quinn Smith. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. So there's 4 minutes left. He might make it. We'll see. I don't think he's going to be able to overtake Smith. I think Smith is going to manage to hold on to this.
It'll definitely be close. I believe, in my opinion, I think it's all coming down to traffic.
Oh, for sure, it definitely will, as they have a large spell of it coming up here soon. But if they can manage to navigate that, then there's quite a bit of open space after that, and they're Kostovich is going to be he wants traffic right now. He's actually struggling to keep up with Quinn.
Well, Quinn Smith running a little wide.
And I just received a message from Santiago saying that, yeah, he saw that he was not braking, so he found a window, went full throttle, and not to crash into him. Respect.
Yeah, so it's an unfortunate moment, but luckily he saw the mistake, he saw the window, and he avoided complete chaos for
And
other drivers.
we, sorry to interrupt, but we got to your wish. Kostovich managing to catch right up to Smith's bumper in traffic here.
See if he makes a lunge going into the hairpin.
He's a bit
Or if
too
Quinn Smith
far away.
is...
Maybe. He leaves the gap open, Smith does, but Kostovich not quite ambitious enough to send it. That would be a very ambitious lunge.
I think he's got a bit too much respect for Quinn Smith.
Oh, that... Was there a bit of contact there with Kostovich and the 89 Camaro? Because Kostovich just lost a second and a half.
It didn't look like there was contact. I just think Kostovich had to brake a little bit more than he would have liked to, as the 89 Camaro of Gibor kind of got in the way, but obviously it's expected because he's a GT4. But,
yeah, he's going to be fuming after that. But as you say, it's completely in his right. Nothing against the rules, but then again, right there, it's now he's already closed back a second because Smith got caught up in traffic. It's a give and take here as they're going to be coming on to the final lap. Kostovich does not have much time to get this done.
No, yeah, but I think they're crossing the line. They'll be on their final lap. And it looks like it will be. But yeah, it's just the nature of multi-class racing. The traffic can get in the way and ultimately decide your fate.
There's quite a large gap right now as the next back marker to Q Smith is actually a GT3 car of P8 of Santos, which just shows how rapid that Smith and Kostovich are managing the lap. The GT3 field coming on to the last lap. We'll see. I still think that Smith is going to manage to hold on to this. I think Kostovich is going to he needs a miracle right now. So we see 67 car. Bravo, unfortunately, having a bit of a moment down the field. But we can sit on this action of Kostovich as this is the most exciting right now. And unfortunately, as they're rounding the final sector, Kostovich is just too far away. I think he's not going to be able to close that back up.
But as you're speaking, Quinn Smith is actually getting caught up in traffic. And Kostovich is right on his rear wing now.
Oh, but he gets a good enough exit. That's that. As we see Quinn Smith coming home, bringing home for Madhaus Racing. We have Kostovich pulling up P2 for a very good scrap at the end there, honestly. And Santiago. That was in the GT4 car.
We've got Rivera and Gonzalez crossing the line in P3 and P4. Brian Knappen coming across the line, P5. Juan Carez is still a little bit out from the finish line. Got 2 turns left to go. But it looks like he's going to take it home in P6.
Along with Rudy Mariner, he's going to be coming along in P1 or P14. Wait a second, is this for position? No, this isn't for position. Okay. Yeah, Rudy taking P1 for the GT4 field, followed by Mike Burkov, who's actually like still 2 turns around. Wow. Just a dominant performance from the top of the field, honestly.
Yeah, from both splits. There was Quinn Smith and Kostovich, and then you have Manier and Burkoff is just crossing the line now, so just shows how rapid Manier was in that Porsche, the GT4 Porsche, that is.
That was an excellent race. I can't believe how little contact there was throughout the entire field, especially at the beginning.
Yeah, there was a little bit of contact, but for the most part, it was just off tracks.
Quite a few drive-throughs, unfortunately. As we saw a lot of people speeding in the pits, where Knapman falling victim to that, as he would have had a P2 probably sealed for him if he didn't make that error. And we will see here if we can... Are we going to try to pull some guys up here?
Yeah, we'll see if we can get some drivers to come in for some post-race interviews. See if we can get Smith, Kostovich, Rivera, Manier, Burkhoff, and Kerstetter, and maybe Scott, Delbecki, and Ladas, depending if we get them all or get a couple of them.
We get the full media.
As, yeah, Quinn Smith, your race winner, followed by Joseph Kostovich in P2, and I believe it was Gage Gonzalez in P3.
Rivera in P3.
Oh, it was Rivera in P3, sorry. And then for the GT4 Split 1 crowd, we got Riley Manier in P1, Mike Burkhoff in P2, and Ed Kerstetter in P3. And for the GT4 Split 2 crowd, we got Ricky Scott in P1, you got Adam Delbecki in P2, and you got, I don't know his first name because I think he's a newcomer, but we got Ladas in P3.
Awesome. And now we have Mike Burkov and Eric here in the chat. Mike, awesome race. Like, just a solid drive.
You guys want to drag Smith and Coasty up, I guess?
Yeah, I'll go grab him.
First up, Riley. Oh yeah, okay, there we go, Mike. There you are. Yeah, absolutely. You just drove your own race. I mean, you didn't even race really.
I disagree. At the start, I was definitely fighting Raza. It was just a matter of, you know, trying not to get killed, basically. I think we kind of jinxed it before the race. We talked about how we hadn't had too many incidents and that we were all doing really good. And knowing how tight this track was, I knew that I was just going to have to be on my toes and just kind of let everyone kind of go. And, you know, some people got killed, and I was one of the fortunate ones that didn't.
Dude, you were just gone. I mean, 20 seconds ahead of Mike. That was... You were at one point ahead of the GT3.
I think I finished ahead of one GT3, but like
you were
I
racing one for position. I know that.
I felt comfortable enough. I think 4 of us finished in front of one of the GT3s, but it was more a matter of just staying alive. That's all that mattered. This track's so difficult. The kink is dangerous. Like, just got to be careful.
Yeah, we saw some pretty close calls, especially towards the end. But yeah,
oh, yeah,
Mike, that was really good from you, though. Just like I say, solid drive all around. You couldn't quite keep up with Rudy, unfortunately. Towards the end, you had very similar pace, but you just couldn't keep it in the window.
Oh, I was far away from that one. I couldn't see that house at all. I couldn't see the apartment. But it was. I got lucky. Like Riley mentioned, the one thing I did do was qualify good enough to kind of be up there, and then, you know, a couple of guys had some trouble, and after that, I just had to watch out for traffic. So, but I'm still really happy with the result. I mean, I'm not up here too often, so.
No, definitely not. I'd love to see you up here more often. It's like I said, you just drove. I don't think you raced, you drove.
Yep, I just tried to keep pace. I was definitely a half a second to almost a full second off the top guys, so I really kind of lucked out, like I said. But kept it consistent, so good enough, right?
For sure. We can go over to, is that Kostovich? You're here
Yeah.
now? Lovely.
Yeah, hello.
The GT3 P2. You slid in there for P2 kind of towards the end as some of your other people had a bit of some issues in front of you with some penalties and having a couple moments, but you got pretty lucky there and slid into P2.
Yeah, the start of the race, I think, was lap 4. I think the BMW in front of me bumped Canapan, so they slowed down for me. That let me just go past them. But then the rest, like the 45 minutes, it was just traffic management. And I couldn't keep up with Quinn. Quinn did a fantastic job managing traffic, and I could not keep up through the chaos. Got close at the very end there, but then another traffic incident, I had to drop off. But that was that.
Yeah, you were so
So,
close at the end until that Camaro got in front of you. That was exciting
yeah.
to see. We had a little bit of hope that you were going to get there. I didn't think you were going to get it. I was on the not belief side, unfortunately.
If I was, he was walking on me on the front straight. Really, I was running a really high downforce setup. So the only way I was gonna get around Quinn was through traffic or on a corner where he makes a mistake. And I had a couple opportunities, but it was just too far back. But fair game to Quinn. He drove a fantastic race.
Oh, he did for sure. I only saw one major mistake from him where he probably had to change his pants, but other than that, he didn't make any mistakes. So
Yeah, couple 3 wides and I think a 4 wide there for a moment. So yeah, it was quite a chaotic race for sure.
Kostovich, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Towards the, I want to say maybe 5 minutes left in the race, going down the corkscrew, and you see a GT4 go flying past you down the corkscrew. What is your first reaction there?
I forgot about that actually. So I heard car on my left going into the corkscrew, and that's happened enough for me before that I just straightened my wheel and let off the gas, and sure enough, I had a magic missile fly past me. So I guess that was just experience and gut reaction that saved me there. But yeah, a little spooky, just a little bit.
Yeah, because that looked like it could have been, with the speed that GT4 was going, that looked like it could have been catastrophic.
Oh, that would have been race over for sure.
and Rivera, you've been awfully quiet so far, but you snuck onto the podium.
Yeah, I have to play a little bit of a strategy and did a massive undercut because I actually didn't have the best of quality.
Oh, but you made the best of it for sure. I mean, you got pretty lucky at the end with the errors being forced, but you were there to capitalize on all the, everything that you needed to, and you managed to sneak into the podium.
Yeah, so quietly or sneaky.
No, that was a very good drive from you. Just all in all, just consistent. You had a couple issues with traffic a few times I saw, but other than that, I mean, smooth sailing, I'd say.
Yeah, this is a hard track to have GT4s on it, and there's a lot of GT4s. What, more than 20 cars, or I think, and sometimes you hit a massive, and you hit a massive train of GT4s, and yeah, quite challenging here because here you touch a little bit of sand and you're gone.
Yeah, you managed to keep all 4 on track though.
Yep.
And it's looking like, I think is Kerstetter not going to be getting in here? Because he's the one that we are still yet to talk to.
I can get him. I wasn't sure. I'll go get him.
Awesome. And if anyone else has anything, or Aldra, do you have any questions?
No, I was just gonna say, we're now on like a 2-week break, as we won't be back until I believe it's like the, what is it, like the 8th or something? No, maybe like the 14th of July, because we have
Independence Day.
Is that what America Day is called?
That is what that is what America Day is called.
Yeah, because we have, I guess you guys have Independence Day and we've got Canada Day up here, and then the week after we have the 6-hour Enduro, and then we'll be back.
Yeah, awesome. And we got Kerstetter up here now. Great drive, Kerstetter, in the Maserati.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, that was satisfying.
Oh, I bet. You drove so well. I mean, you had a couple massive moments, but you still ended up on the podium. So, hey.
Yeah, it worked out. It would have been nice to see. I didn't qualify great, and had had a couple of contacts, and that first lap I think I lost like 20 seconds because of the incident in turn. I don't even know the turns 5 or 6. So it would have been interesting to see. I don't think I had anything for Riley long term, but it was fun driving up through everybody.
Yeah, no, you did a great job on that, and every single time you could hear you on track whenever anyone was passing you, because just that distinct Maserati sound. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's Kerstetter.
yeah. It's either like it sounds great or you're screeching the brakes because you locked him up because there's no ABS.
Hey,
There's like nothing. There's nothing in between.
you had a
But I
couple
gotta
moments.
apologize. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
You had a couple moments, like especially through the high-speed sweeper, where you had just that happen, where you locked up and just went into the gravel a little bit.
Yeah, there were a couple corners. The last corner, obviously the carrot or the corkscrew, they were and the first corner were really tough to get on the brakes right. But everything else, like the fast sweeping corners, the Maserati was fantastic, and it's so heavy, but if you get it right, it just carries so much momentum and speed through the corner. I was actually pulling on some 570Ss because I could get off, carry more speed in the middle. So it was fun. But I got to apologize to Moses. I had a GT3 car coming up on the inside, and I was trying to give him room with the way the front stretch kind of kicked out, and him and I got together a couple times, and I went back on the replay, and it looked worse on the replay than it did in the car. So sorry if he's listening. Sorry to him. Didn't mean to do that.
I actually think we saw that on stream when you guys went 3 wide down the straight, but yeah, that was just sort of a racing incident, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was trying to give the GT3 room because the way the wall kicks out, and I didn't want to squeeze him in, and yeah, I ended up squeezing Moses on the outside, where I thought he had way more room. So apologies to him.
Luckily, he managed to recover, honestly, fairly well from that. He didn't take too much damage.
Okay, that's good to know.
So I've got a question for you, Ed. If I'm not mistaken, did you what was it? You wanted to change out of the Maserati and you drove the Aston last week and you
Yeah.
changed back, or am I imagining things?
No, you're right. But when I went to join the server today in the Aston, it said I had to be in the Maserati, and so I think they made the change for the race, but not the season. But it worked out pretty good. I made some brake adjustments, and it allowed me to be a little bit more on the edge without locking up. A little bit more range on it. In like heavy braking zones and like a little when you lift off a little bit, and it felt way better. So I was actually glad I got to try that out in the Maserati. Felt much better. But you're not imagining things. It was I kind of switched back twice, I guess, effectively.
Yeah, something didn't seem right to me, but it's like, hey, you made the best out of the situation and came out with a podium.
Yeah, worked out good. Worked out good.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for participating here. We're just currently getting a link to a raid if you guys would be so kind to go and join. I will be posting that momentarily.
Why don't you give it a shot, Mike, and let me know if you can raid or not.
Yep. I should be able to.
It's /raid space the name that I just sent you.
There we go. If you guys would go ahead and join that, this would be LJ Super Ninja 15 playing some ACC. Mean a lot if you joined. Eric, do you have any closing words or anything like that?
Well, just thanks to everyone for being around, watching us, and thanks to all the drivers. Great race.
Awesome, and thank you guys for participating and watching. Oh, yep.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. We have about a 2-week break now as we go for Independence Day and then the 6-hour enduro. So we will see you back here on the 14th, I believe, for Imola round 6, the second half of the season, where I believe it is 5 races in 5 weeks.
Whew, that's a lot.
Yep, we're going back to back, and I forgot to thank you guys as well. Thanks, Mike and Reed, for hosting us and streaming.
Of course.
Awesome of you guys.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone. Hope you guys all have a very good night and a safe Independence Day, as we're not going to be streaming for that. And have a good one, everyone.